All right, thank you, Black Queen. Next we got Joshua. Hey, Joshua.
Hello, love. Thanks for allowing me up, and I hope your day's going well. Hope your leg is feeling better. How your leg is doing?
I'm up to a mile a day on it now, so it's getting
Oh,
there.
you can run?
Nah, walk.
Oh, wow. Okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Uh, well, what I say is
Wait, what's
about
your ethnicity for the people in the room, Josh?
I'm an American descendant of slave, foundational Black American.
Okay, you want to address the prompt?
Yes. Well, I'll say that I don't I don't know why they won't go home. I guess they don't want to go home because they scared of accountability. They want to push that on us a lot. Laziness on us a lot. But it's easy to come to a country and benefit off the work our ancestors did, and not want to be accountable to go back and build up your own homeland. To me, it's nothing like home. Like, I don't see why would a group of people not want to go home and do the work they need to do to build up their home. Um,
Thank
if
you.
I'm allowed, I would like to ask, what his name, Almagid, whatever. What his name?
Alvin.
It's
Yeah.
fine. It's okay. I know you're talking to me.
Okay. Now you from Aswan? Are you above the?
I don't know what you mean by I'm from Aswan. Am I above?
No,
Maybe,
He
it's
Egyptian.
no. I was asking you, was you above the ABABDA? I think it's a subgroup of the Berger or the Bashara.
I'm actually particularly Basharin.
Basharim. Okay.
Yeah.
Did y'all live on reservations in the Aswan?
Did we live on reservations in Aswan?
Yes.
No.
Okay. That's all I wanted to ask. It's a group called the Ababda. I used to study them a lot when I was real young.
Yeah,
And
we're related to Ababda people. That happened only because when the British did the Aswan Dam, they displaced all the people.
uh-huh.
A lot of people were pushed outside of the dam, and the Ababda were given like
Okay.
housing that would be very similar to reservations, but that was some British people colonial bullshit that they did. Bishari people migrated down a little bit and then just came back, and some actually did go down as far as to like Eritrea, actually, in like some parts of Sudan. But that
Okay,
place is
okay.
not. That place is fluid. That's not a good comparison to America because it's a fluid place. Those distinctions on those borders are not really particularly accurate because the Sudan and Egypt and all those places have very floating borders that have not really been real until white people came to Africa and did all that colonial stuff. But yeah, that's
Well,
really interesting. Most people don't even know
I
about
would say
Bashari
this.
people, man.
Yeah. I studied y'all since I was real young, like 19. But
Yeah.
I would say that you know, just like Black Americans, we're doing the work. We doing to try to get rights in our homeland. I will hope y'all do too. I already do know that you are. I ain't gonna lie, you're a real Egyptian. You are the ancient Egyptian. I'm already
Yeah,
hip to
that's
that.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
already know that. I already know
yeah.
that. So, I hate what y'all went through, but it's time for Black Americans. We're watching out for ourselves. Even though I do hate what y'all went through, I think it's horrific what y'all went through and continue to go through. But it's a time where Black Americans have to watch out for ourselves. So I'm in agreements with everybody on the stage, and that's
I
all I
had
have
a
to say.
question. I have a question real quick for Alamise. Alamise. That
Yeah.
am I doing it right?
No, it's
Alamise.
okay. It's not an easy name, so
Say it.
it's all right.
Say it. Alamise. That's right.
Ahlam. Ahlam.
Ahlam.
Yeah,
Okay.
ahlam. Yeah.
So
Good.
listen. So there, I'm wondering how you guys are connected to some people who have ancient Egyptian DNA here. There was a two guys here that were related to some of the pharaohs. I think it was who was it? Ramsey, and
And
then
he
Ramesses.
American. My brother, I haven't did my test yet, but my brother on my father's side, he did. He is, and on my father's side, he was it went back to Ramsey. Go ahead.
right. So what I'm saying is I'm wondering how you guys are connected to the people here in America because we have part of that DNA here in the United States.
Yeah, you're referring to like the haplogroups that are found this because I'm my background, I'm a scientist by that's what I do for a living. But at any rate, there's haplogroups that are specifically tied to to
Which ones
people
are
that,
they? Do you know which ones they are?
yeah, I can tell you right now.
So I can research them. Hold on, let me write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because the thing is, Egypt is very weird because the history is, I mean, you know, those places that's like 8,000, 10,000 years, there's no way there's not going to be changes that come and go. But in regards to like indigenous people in Egypt, there are people that share haplogroups that are considered to be definitively tied to what would be considered the concentrated ethnic gene pool of expressive alleles that I have as a person who never left the region, that some people in the United States also have as well. And most of those people, they have some non-West African ancestry by way of pre-colonial African presence in North America.
So do you know what those haplogroups are?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to tell you now.
Okay, and then also too, I was gonna say, dang, what was I gonna say? And then love you. I remember you told me before that your brother had that. That's what kind of like struck my curiosity. So there's more and more people coming out saying that they have that
It's called
DNA.
EB. This is called E1B1B. So the thing is, I'm making sure I'm
Oh,
being very specific
right.
about this because there's some weird pseudoscience about DNA. DNA is comprised of a bunch of different things, and the determining factors that are particularly have to do with phenotype are a certain set of haplogroups. Because there are some people who just get a DNA sample, and just because they're black or of African descent in their original origin, they'll just assume that they're part of a group because of the wide and dense allele table of a very wide. Like you ever seen an apartment that's tall and skinny? That's how you.
I
That's how
understand how
you're.
the genes. I understand about
Yeah.
genes. Yeah.
So
Wait a minute. Wait, let's explain it
EB1B1B.
a little. Explain what you were saying about the skinny apartment building, because for people who don't know how it
Oh,
works.
okay. So expressive genes are grouped by allele tables, which are the possibilities that are able to be expressed during the time that genes are exchanging the different acids that create the outcome of phenotype, blah, 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 blah. And white people or people of European descent, they happen to have a very narrow allele table, meaning of the things that are expressed, their options are different because we all have the same amount of genes as people in the human species, with the exception of this 4% that Europeans have that's from another humanoid, which is a Neanderthal. But for the most part, humans have the same genes. We just don't have the same likelihood of expressing those genes because of how that gene table is arranged. So European people have a tall and narrow one, meaning while those genes are negotiating what kind of hair, what kind of nose, what kind of skin color, blah, 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 it just doesn't have that many options because it has to go all the way down this narrow pathway And by the time that narrow pathway is gone down, those choices have been made, which is why they're a lot more uniform in how they look than black people are. Black people, meaning people who, however long ago, have their origins in Africa, as a connection, have a wide gene pool. So instead of us having a tall apartment building, we have a giant wide building that is also tall. So the choices are easier to get to. But there are some people in the
Hence the
United
reason we
States.
have different complexions in the diaspora or our diaspora here in America. Hence
Exactly.
the reason why you have different color eyes. That's what, and even our sizes, our body shapes.
Yeah, and people say that's admixture, but that's not true. There's like admixture plays a very, very almost non-existent role in those factors, because there are people on the continent of Africa that produce those same types of things who have not had an introduction of any other quote unquote ethnic group that's determinably different.
Alchemy, let me see. Have you ever ran across DNA of indigenous groups? How does that work with like indigenous groups across other continents?
Yeah, there are indigenous groups that have a recent and direct origin from the continent of Africa that is prior, that's not 30,000 or more years ago. And
Their gene pool,
yeah,
traces would be like various, like different types.
Yeah.
So there's the RH. There's like a lot of different ones. That's across the. Well, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm sorry.
no. So what they did is they found, in regards to like, okay, just say a group of people left to one place. They came from Africa, they went to a place. They either, over a very extensively long period of time, developed a evolutionary trait that is more inclined to being fit for the environment, which that takes a very long time. Most people don't have that because you're talking about tens of thousands of years. It takes a lot for the actual DNA to sequence itself differently. Most of the time, what actually happened is something called a concentrated gene pool, to where since those people were in proximity to each other, they began to mate and have children together, which meant that the combinations were repeating enough to where there was a likelihood of a certain phenotype. And there's Black people historically that are tied to some groups that are considered to be pre-colonial, that are in their ethnic gene designation Black and not Native American of the kind that is from Asia. There are some people here, and that's something I know a lot of people. Yeah,
Because they got their own unique haplogroup.
Exactly.
And because they come from a certain region. And so the tracing of the marker from the gene pools are going to stay in that area. So this is what we try to explain to these Africans. Because we've been here so long, we have a different genetic makeup than they do. Even the Africans that they brought here, their genetic markers are different also, because they have been here for so long. And so they call us mixed. They think that we're mixed.
But those people are stupid.
When we say we're indigenous, they say, oh no, they'll click on our pictures. Oh no, just like Love has been accused, and I have been accused too of, and I'm like, absolutely not. This is what indigenous features look like. We have, a lot of us here have indigenous features, and they try to say we have family that look like you, and they just be lying, because we have a certain marker here that's indigenous to America.
Yeah, there's a concentration of like for example, I think it's pretty obvious. You pulled up my picture. I don't look anything like West African people. Like nowhere close.
You don't. at all. No.
And that's because I evolved to produce genes that were fitted to the environment, because I have a more pronounced nose that's more narrow and stark, because in that area we have a heightened altitude and the air is more arid, which means the passage of oxygen requires thinner, more narrow pathways because it's easier to breathe. So over a long period of time, we developed to be that way. But then what we also did is we just kept having babies with each other, which meant that the likelihood, it's like rolling dice. The more you roll dice, the more you can produce the outcome of the likelihood of what one's going to come up. And the reason they look the way they do is
Okay, we
because
gotta land the plane.
oh, sorry. The point is, like, there's groups of people who left from Africa in a recent time, and archaeologically speaking, that is no more than 30,000 years ago. And this is the thing. Groups are combined into concentrated gene pools that produce a likelihood of the expression of that gene, but not a rearrangement of that gene sequence. And there are people in America who come from a group of people whom are pre-colonial, who share a haplogroup with my people, because when those people came to North America, they came from my part of Africa.